A lot of times the AI is going to need our help when it's building its plan. Now, one way we could do that is we can just say, go and build a plan, and then we can sort of wait until the end and we can iteratively try to figure out where it needs additional help or information to fill in its plan. But sometimes what's a helpful approach is to use the flipped interaction pattern. And this is basically a pattern where we ask it to ask us questions so that it can generate a plan. So the idea behind this is it may have specific topics that it thinks should be addressed in order to effectively build a plan. And if it goes ahead and from the beginning asks us those questions, it can help us produce a plan. So let me show you what this looks like. So here's what I've done. I've uploaded a article that I wrote. This is an academic article, and I tell it task. I would like to write a blog post based on this paper. And then I say, read the document and ask me questions until you have enough information to build a step-by-step plan to accomplish this task. So note what I'm doing. I'm flipping the script and I'm basically telling it, go and ask me questions in order to accomplish this task, basically in order to build a plan to accomplish this task. So I'm flipping the interaction and having it go and ask me the question so it can figure out what information it needs. So let's see what happens. So it goes through, it summarizes the paper, and then it has a bunch of questions. And this was a little bit overwhelming. I could have gone and answered each question right here individually, and one prompt said, 1, here's what I want, 2, well, here's what I want. But instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tell it to ask me the questions one by one. And then it goes through and it says, okay, let's take this step by step. What is your target audience for the blog post? That's a really helpful question. If it had assumed that I was going for an academic audience from the beginning, then it would have written something that was targeting the wrong audience. And I say general public. Great. Keeping the content accessible to the general public will be a priority. What is the main takeaway that you want to convey to your readers? And I say, I want to emphasize that just generating a single coding solution is not effectively leveraging ChatGPT's capabilities. The future is in prompting for hundreds of solutions and automatically ranking them based on code quality or marketing message quality or anything else. This is one of the futures of all these tools, is get it to generate a lot of solutions for you and automatically rank them. Then it asks some questions like, what specific sections of the paper would you like to focus on? And this is something that I think is a great pattern to use whenever you're asked a bunch of questions, is just let it choose for you. Just say, you choose what will be best and give it how you want it to choose to support the emphasis. So this is a pattern, is you choose is a pattern. You choose in order to accomplish these things. And then it goes through, it asks me some other questions about how long I want it to be. It has a number of other questions, and then it goes and builds out its plan for the blog post and the structure of that blog post. So this is a super effective way of, rather than going and just getting it to generate a plan and then coming back to you with a lot of questions or a lot of questions at the end, you know, it sometimes will just generate something that is 100% what you want. Sometimes it's going to generate something that's not at all what you want based on assumptions that you wouldn't have made. Or sometimes you'll get it to start generating a plan, and then it'll tell you all the questions at the end. This is a way to trigger it just right from the get-go, go and sort of generate questions that would be helpful. And often the questions will be very relevant to the problem that you're asking it to create a plan for. So if you're asking it to write a blog post, it's going to start asking you questions about length and the audience, which are relevant questions. If you're asking it questions for something else, or if you're asking it to do some other task, it's going to find relevant questions. So when you're planning, often a really effective way to start is by using the flipped interaction pattern to get it to ask you questions in order to go and begin producing the plan.